From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
Heads Meats and Grocery is much more than a grocery store. We carry a full line of quality meats, local and organic vegetables, and a large variety of fish, Green Mountain Smart Control pellet grills, and a full deli case of sandwiches and side dishes.
Boy, what an interesting day it was yesterday for some of us. Now, Redding, it seemed like, you know those cartoons where if you're having a bad day and there's just a cloud over your head with rain and everywhere you walk that cloud goes? It seemed like that's what was going on in the north end of the valley around Redding, Anderson, Cottonwood. It was these off and on sprinkles and light showers that we saw through really a majority of the day. But then you head to the south, there really wasn't any rain. Red Bluff, Chico, just didn't see much. Now, there were other areas in parts of Northern California that did see some rain yesterday, especially out towards northern Humboldt, Del Norte County as well. But definitely an interesting day. So when we look at the storm totals here, the last 2 days, look at Redding, 0.75 inches of rain. But look at Chico, only 0.09 inches. So we just didn't quite see as much there. But look at Red Bluff, Corning, even Oroville didn't do so bad there, a little over 1/2 inch. Now, most of that was from 2 days ago. A lot of this was from 2 days ago for Redding as well. However, yesterday we were able to tack on more on that, and that's why it did see more than most other areas. Now look at this, that footprint here, and just not seeing as much off to the north and east. But look at Crescent City, 3.2 inches of rain, 3.64 Klamath, Trinidad about 1/2 inch. So you can see as you head southward, not as much. However, Redway, over 1 inch. So it just depends on where you are. This was definitely a very interesting last couple of days. Now, I do expect, since things have cleared out for many of us, there's going to be some patchy fog out there this morning. So be aware of that on your morning commute. Off and on rain well into next week, but higher snow levels. And that's something I've been talking about even since last week. All right, so let's get you out the door for today. There you can see that mainly cloudy skies, really, for most of us. But we're not going to see a lot of rain. Now, I think parts of the coast could see some showers, and parts of Siskiyou, Modoc County. But the eastern mountains will most likely be dry under the mostly cloudy skies today. For the north coast, there you can, of course, see, again, that chance for showers. Inland, maybe a chance for just a few showers here and there, but Trinity County, most likely looking at dry conditions. So here's the overall setup. What we've got here, look at this. I mean, just a big plume of moisture coming in from the subtropics. That is the moisture source for the decent rain that we're going to be getting out of this storm system. We've got an area of low pressure. If you kind of look closely, it's beginning to kind of spin right here. That low pressure will kind of move off to the north and east. But what it's doing is it's helping to really draw in that moisture, that warmer, moist air, give us that rain. So let's take a look at Futurecast, walk you through the timing of everything. So as I mentioned, through the day today, we could see some activity, very light, towards Siskiyou, not to mention Modoc County. But look to the south, it's dry. But places like, along the coast here, even some of the inland areas may see a stray shower here and there. But by the afternoon, evening, it's really fairly dry out there under the mostly cloudy skies. Okay, then we go into Friday. This is when things will start to take shape. Now, overall, fairly dry, not much going on. There may be some sprinkles here and there off to the north, but there you can see the mostly cloudy skies to start off the day. But the rain still mainly well off to our west right here, okay? Now, you see what's happening? You see how it's kind of rotating around the area of low pressure. So all that warm, moist air is starting to get drawn in around that area of low pressure as it moves to the east. But still, even at noon, we're just not seeing much rain, even for the coast. But as we go through the afternoon, it starts to progress eastward. So by the mid-afternoon hours, we're seeing some pretty good rain in southern Humboldt County and Trinity County, but even making its way northward, just not as heavy. We may see on the leading edge of that some of the showers developing for the valley. But overall, not much going on here off to the east. That's 3 p.m. tomorrow. Now let's take you to 6 p.m., 3 hours later. Now it's beginning to push into the valley. Now we're starting to see more of that moderate rainfall, and we're getting the leading edge of that rain now beginning to move into the eastern mountains. But now we're on the back side of the main draw of moisture here, so now we're starting to see drier conditions, but still showers for the north coast by the time we get into tomorrow evening. Now let's take you into Friday night at 10 p.m. We're still seeing some good rain for the valley, Just not much going on to the west of that. But now we're starting to see better rain off towards the eastern mountains. So really through the first half of the day, I think the eastern mountains will be fairly dry. And then by Friday evening, Friday night, we see a better chance for that rain. Now again, take note, we're seeing snow in the higher elevations. You can see that. But that's mainly above 6,000 feet. Okay, now we're going to take you into Saturday morning. You see how we're seeing some showers. It's going to be more in the way of off and on showers at this point. Okay, so Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, we're seeing off and on showers. There will be brief periods of some moderate to even heavy rainfall. Can we rule out a thunderstorm? Absolutely not. It's not out of the question, but chances for thunderstorms are not looking all that strong at this point. Still that snow above 5,000 feet, but it could be heavy at times in those above 5,000 feet. Now let's take a look at those forecast rain totals, and looking pretty good. This is through Saturday morning. I think we could pick up maybe even close to 1/2 of an inch in parts of the valley. Quite honestly, I think this might be underdoing it, but I think we can see pick upwards then as close to 1/2 of an inch. Now look at this, not as much for the coast, and of course not as much off to the east. Now I also wanted to show you the long range. Take this with a grain of salt, but I just want to show you the overall trend that we're seeing here. And looking at different forecast models and projections for the amount of rain that we'll see through the middle of next week. So we're looking at basically today through Wednesday. I think the valley could pick up anywhere between 2.5 to upwards of 5 inches of rain. You know, if you see 5 inches of rain, probably not going to happen, but between 2.5 to 3 inches of rain, that's a good amount of rainfall. Even if we only get 2.5 inches. We'll take it. That's a great amount of rainfall, right? You see, we're not seeing as much off to the west, and of course, the same footprint as usual, just not as much heading off to the east as well. Now, looking at the snow, it looks impressive in some spots. There's the mountain, Mount Shasta, right? Lots of snow there. There's Lassen Peak, over 1 foot of snow there. But those are elevations like over 10,000 feet, 14,000 feet. That's why you're seeing all that heavy snow. Even in some of the Trinity Alps, you're seeing a good amount of snow. But again, you're getting up high in elevation, 8,000, 9,000 feet, right? But overall, we look at everything else. This is just kind of picking up on maybe a bit of a mix out towards places like Quincy. And we could see a mix for some of the higher, lower elevation, or should we say, the higher mountain communities. Let's put it that way. Chester at 4,500 feet approximately, you could see a mix. How about El Turris? Yeah, maybe a mix at times. Mount Shasta City? Probably not. But the ski park, borderline mix at times. I think that there are going to be times from basically now through the middle of next week that the base of the ski park is going to see snow and heavy snow at times. But then there may be times where some warmer air kind of shifts in. We see a bit of a mix, maybe some sleet. So I think there are going to be times where it's not going to be 100% snow. With that all being said, let's take a look at this. I want to show you, this is just a short range forecast model. I'm going to show you here. Here's the ski park, the base of the ski park. As we go into Friday, there you can see, look at the mountain. I mean, getting tons and tons of snow. But as you get to the base of it, you're not seeing as much. So at the ski park, yeah, I mean, upwards of around 4 to 6 inches of snow. Not out of the question here, but is that a lot? No, but at least hopefully it's just snow. And that could, of course, be a big help. So what's the reason why we've got such high snow levels? Well, we've got the main flow moving in from the south and west. Think of, we talk about these atmospheric rivers. And, again, it's just one of those overused expressions. So, just warmer subtropical air that's moving in. So we've got these weak atmospheric rivers which are going to be kind of pushing in our direction. Now, when we talk atmospheric rivers, what's the main thing that we talk about? Warmer and moist air. And that's why we see these higher snow levels. This is something I've referenced before. Think back to early on in the season when a lot of us were hoping for snow on those mountain ski resorts, and it wasn't happening even in the Sierra because the snow levels were too high. Now, is this going to be as high as that? As those storm systems? Probably not, but still much higher than we saw the last couple of weeks. So you've got this warm subtropical air that's moving in, one storm after another, riding up to our north, tapping into that subtropical moisture, and as a result, we see good rainfall, but also snow levels as low as 5,000 feet at times, but mainly above 5,000 feet. Now that's through around the middle of next week. I think what's going to happen is we're going to get cut off from that flow because high pressure at this point may build in. Now I want you to listen closely. I've been talking about all this great rain coming into the middle of next week, but by the end of next week, we could be looking at a different pattern. Okay, so here's this Friday. Okay, we're looking at tomorrow. Here's the area of low pressure, nice flow of moisture coming in. Okay, that low pressure system rises up to our north. We see the rain through the weekend. See another system coming into Monday, Tuesday, but by the end of next week, so we are looking at Thursday and Friday of next week, trending drier and trending warmer. I want to mention we're going to see that potential. And even the European forecast model is showing this trend as well. I don't think this is going to last forever. I don't think this is going to set itself up and sit here for weeks on end and we don't see any rainfall. It's going to be here. We'll see a nice break from all of the wet weather we're going to see for the next 6 to 7 days. And then we get a break. And then after that, looks like maybe some more rain possibly. Now we're going way, way out, folks. You know how I feel about long-range forecasts past 10 days. Not a big fan of it, but I'm seeing the trend. And I just want to give you a little bit of a heads up that, it'll be nice to get a break from all the wet weathers. Here's the precipitation outlook, and it's even picking up on the drier trend. If you notice, remember the last few days, it's just been all dark green over California. Now we're seeing drier and, closer to normal in parts of California. So we still have, of course, the rain in the forecast in the long range, just not as much. And of course, there's that warmer air supporting those higher snow levels I've been talking about. Wave heights, well, of course, they're going to be kind of going, waxing and waning here over the next few days here. So if you have to be on a small boat, you're going to want to keep a close eye on those wave heights. But your marine forecast for today with those south winds at 5 to 15 knots, there's that small correct advisory here throughout the day today. So here's your neighborhood forecast for Trinity County. It looks like just constant rain, right? No, that's not the case. Off and on rain starting Friday afternoon all the way through at least Tuesday, if not into Wednesday of next week. Temperatures today, low 50s. I do expect temperatures for the coast to be, looks like inland areas and the coast to be in the 50s and 60s for those daytime highs. And there you can see about 62 degrees for Blue Lake, 61 degrees for Eureka, 62 Smith River, 59 for Oric, 61 for Trinidad, and Hoopa, about 58 degrees. Here's your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast. Those temperatures are going to be in the 40s, mid-40s, give or take, depending on your elevation where you are. Look at that, I've even put Ashland in there just for fun. 51 degrees there, 40 degrees for Doris, and 49 degrees in Hornbrook. Take you up north, Tule Lake, 41, 43 for Canby, California Pines, about 44 degrees. And then there's your Eastern Mountains forecast. It's dry today. I don't think you're going to see any rain today. There's showers coming in late in the day on Friday in the evening hours, off and on rain after that going into next week. Temperatures today, though, in the mid to upper 40s, even some 50-degree readings there. Here's your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by Haas Farms. Temperatures, I think some of us could see 60 degrees. It's not out of the question, but it's going to be overcast out there. And there may be some breaks in the clouds, but it's going to be, not as warm as we'd probably like it to be. It's still pretty cool out there. There you can see about 55 degrees for Whiskeytown, 58 for Lakehead, 55 for Lakehead, City of Shasta Lake, 58, and Cottonwood, about 58 degrees. All right, so here's your 7-day outlook for Redding. And what we're seeing here is that fog possibly in the morning. I think we're going to see some patchy fog in some spots, and then showers coming in afternoon. All right, you saw it's coming in mid to late afternoon here for Friday. Then off and on showers for the weekend and at least into early next week.